Let's lock in. So Martin Bakole agreed to fight Joseph Parker on short notice, really about 3 days' notice, when Daniel Dubois pulled out of the fight due to an alleged illness. Although Peter Fury suspects that he pulled out of the fight because he was able to secure the fight with Alexander Usyk, and he didn't want to risk getting beat by Joseph Parker. Either way, this thing was a mess. And so before we jump into the knockout, let's talk about what happened. So this fight was agreed to on 3 days' notice, um, which required Martin Bakole to fly from the Congo to Saudi Arabia, which required him to take a flight that had a layover, like two layovers. He flew to one place, he had to wait, then he flew from that place to another place, then to Saudi Arabia, or at least one layover for sure. He finally arrives in Saudi Arabia, and he gives an interview where he says he started training camp the day before the fight. Now, there was kind of a, I don't know if you want to call it a ceremonial weigh-in, where he stepped on like one of them portable scales that I have in my house, and it said he weighed 315. Now, he was wearing his clothes, right? And on social media, he was wearing like skinny jeans, and people were like, look at this dude wearing skinny jeans. And one of my friends in this YouTube world and in the sport of boxing, Karma Serene, she said they weren't skinny jeans when he bought them, like they were regular fitting, and then he grew into the jeans. But the point is, people were worried about his conditioning because he looked overweight, and he arrived, weighed 315, and then the fight happened. And the fight happened, and this is how crazy it is. I don't know if you noticed this, but you watch and you'll see it's such short notice. Martin Bakole is wearing Daniel Dubois boxing gloves. DDD on his boxing gloves. He is wearing Daniel Dubois boxing gloves. So not only is Martin Bakole inconvenienced to the point where he he's wearing Daniel Dubois gloves, he had to take multiple flights to come in, got the fight on short notice, and apparently he's overweight. He steps into the ring, and Martin Bakole gets sparked out in the second round with one punch, like, which is no surprise to most. But here it is right here, sparked out with one punch. Let me turn the sound off, but here you go. You see that overhand right from Parker made him shake his head because he was like, ooh, I felt that. And then the next one puts him on the ground. Bang. There it is. You see them legs. Whoop. And he was down. And once he got up, they just waved it off. It was like, look, you came here on short notice. You seem a bit overweight. I think it was more of like a safety concern. Like, we don't know what's going on with him. We don't want to risk it any more than we need to. But ringside at that fight was Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. And you can see him right here. You see Joshua, he's in black with sunglasses, and Alexander Usyk, he's ringside with colors of the Ukrainian flag. All right, let's watch. They're in shock when they see him go down. Usyk is standing up watching. When they stopped it, AJ seems like he doesn't agree with the stoppage, but Usyk seems like he's okay with it. Yeah, so that was that. They were just fanning out like how we do. Their jaws were dropped. They were like, oh man, wow, what a knockout. And you got to give props to Joseph Parker taking a dangerous opponent on short notice, and he did what he had to do. Then I saw this and I thought this was funny. So this man tweeted, let me just turn the sound off. We'll play the video. Here we go. This man tweeted, Martin Bakole, after receiving 40 million, 12 cars, 17 houses, and 8 wives for getting knocked out in 5 minutes and 17 seconds. And it's the video of Martin Bakole doing that dance that he was doing in the gym. Yeah, so let's jump into this. I thought it was a great performance by Joseph Parker because of the threat. There's serious threat and jeopardy in fighting Martin Bakole. He was ascending. He was being spoken about as the boogeyman of the division. And I don't know if you remember, if you've been following me from last channel to here, you know I always say I don't believe in boogeymen. Because since I've been in the sport of boxing, they always labeled someone as a boogeyman, and I've always seen them get beat. So to me, there's no such thing as boogeymen. We're all human. We all get hurt. At some point, you get hit, you get hurt, especially in heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing is unique because heavyweight boxing, you think of like this, right? We look at the lightweight division. You'll see someone like Tank who has power in the lightweight division and can knock people out. You'll see someone like Inoue in the lower weight divisions who has power and can knock people out. And as you move up in the weight classes, you'll find more and more people who have the ability to knock someone out. Take even the fight we saw on this card. Arthur Beterbiev at 175 has the power to knock people out. Dimitri Bivol can knock people out, but that's not his specialty. That's not what he does. And in fact, he got like his first knockout in like 5 years because Beterbiev had to pull out of the fight and they gave him some replacement opponent. So again, it's not like in every weight division they're knockout artists. The heavyweight division is the only division in boxing, where everyone can knock out where anyone can knock out anyone with one punch. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter. It's the only division where any fighter can knock out the other fighter with one punch. Only in the heavyweight division. That's what makes the heavyweight division special. And that's why, regardless of what people try to say or do, you can talk about what type of shape. It doesn't matter, because when you get hit by one of these guys, lights out. Because the heavyweights have the ability to generate the type of force and power that will concuss another human being. And that's why it's dangerous. So Martin Bakole stepping in that ring, although it was short notice and people, you can't take it away from, because Bakole was being known as that guy. We saw what Bakole did to Jared Big Baby Anderson. We've seen what Bakole has done in other fights. So you got to give Joseph Parker that respect for taking the fight. And then he knocked out Martin Bakole, right? So there it is. Now we're going to move on to a different thing. I'm going to try some new all-in-one video. So now we're going to ask, how much credit does Joseph Parker deserve for beating Martin Bakole? He deserves all the credit, because you never know what Bakole was doing. Bakole could have been training like a madman. Bakole could have been in the best shape of his life. Bakole could have been the best version of Bakole he's ever been, and Joseph Parker wouldn't have known that. And he still agreed to take the fight. So, like, you can't penalize Joseph Parker for taking a fight on short notice against another dangerous fighter and being prepared for whatever stepped in the ring. Unfortunately, what stepped in the ring wasn't the best version of Martin Bakole, but there was still jeopardy there because of Martin Bakole's size, his boxing ability, and what he's able to accomplish. So I saw this and I thought it was noteworthy and impressive. So Ring Magazine posted, Joseph Parker has taken on all comers at heavyweight. And here you see he's faced Anthony Joshua. That was a loss. Deontay Wilder, that was a dub. Andy Ruiz, that was a dub. Zhilei Zhang, that was a dub. Dillian White, that was a loss. Although in the 12th round, he had Dillian White really hurt, and Dillian White's lucky. Fights aren't 15 rounds anymore, but that was an L. Martin Bakole, that was a dub. Joe Joyce, and to me, I've stated this, and people said, "Oh, you're crazy," blah, blah, blah. And the proof has been in the pudding. Joe Joyce was ascending, and Joseph Parker fought the best version of Joe Joyce. And Joseph Parker hit that man with so many clean overhand rights, so many clean power punches. And then after the fight with Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce ended up getting sparked out by Jang, and he ended up he ended up getting stopped by Jang because of damage to his eye, and then he ended up getting sparked out by Jang in a rematch. But before that even happened, one of the things I said was the damage that the damage that Joe Joyce took from Joseph Parker takes its toll, and he'll never be the same again. Like after that damage. That damage is what took chunks out of the armor of Joe Joyce that made it easier for someone like Jang to knock him out. And people, right? Cool. And then you see Derek Chisora drop Joe Joyce. And Joe Joyce hasn't looked like Joe Joyce has never looked the same since stepping in the ring with Joseph Parker. And Derek Chisora twice. Those were very entertaining fights, but to me, clearly won by Joseph Parker. Although Derek Chisora has his fans, so the first fight, people try to act like it was a robbery and he didn't deserve it, but that's absolutely crazy. He won the fight, no debate. 2 victories over Derek Chisora, Huey Fury and Junior Farr, which he won those fights. So you got to give credit to Joseph Parker. He didn't know what type of Martin Bakole was going to step in the ring. Like I said, it could have been the best version of Martin Bakole. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it was a version of Martin Bakole who, we have to wonder what type of shape he was in. But again, Martin Bakole's still very dangerous. So now we're going to talk about Martin Bakole. Did the second round KO loss to Parker derail the Martin Bakole hype train? Listen up. To me, it derails it a little bit. But if you're in the know, you want to give this man the benefit of the doubt. Martin Bakole took this fight on short notice. The notice was so short, he had to wear Daniel Dubois' gloves. Look at this. Martin Bakole is wearing Daniel Dubois' boxing gloves in the ring. Okay? That's not his fit. As you know, that's not his fit. He needed his fit. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't his fit. Maybe those gloves were too big. Maybe they were too small. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. But those gloves are not the gloves that he normally wears. So that shows you what type of inconvenience that Martin Bakole was dealing with. So I don't want to, throw dirt on Martin Bakole. I respect the fact that he was willing to take a tough fight on short notice. I think there are lessons to be learned from Martin Bakole. One, sparring isn't an actual fight. So just because you dominated in sparring doesn't mean you'll win in the fight. 2, I think Martin Bakole was overconfident. I think he felt like he didn't need to be in the best shape. He didn't need to be he didn't need to fear his opponent. I think he felt like he was the best, and all he needed to do was hit one of these guys and they were going to go. But I always ask people this: what happens when they hit you? Like everyone always tells me, like when I'm training in a commercial gym, you got to be like LA Fitness, Crunch, or whatever. If I'm in one of these commercial gyms and say I'm doing a boxing workout, people will come up, and sometimes there'll be someone who like would want to spar, and I'm just like, man, get out of here. Like, people whenever you don't know someone and you just want to spar them, it's because apparently they looked good and you want to try to prove you're tough, or you want to try to. So it's like, to me, it doesn't. Like I said, there's certain ways that actual fighters approach you about boxing that wouldn't be the way someone does it in a commercial gym. But then certain people will come and talk to me, and they'll talk about like boxing, or they're thinking about getting into boxing, and the first thing they'll say is they punch hard. Oh, I hit hard. I punch really hard. I'm really strong. All right. And then I asked him, can you take a punch? I don't know. Have you ever taken a punch before? Do you? So it doesn't like that's the problem. People are so focused on the pain they can inflict. What about the pain that you can take? See, because that matters too. And what we well, yeah, we all can throw a punch. If you're in decent shape, you're powerful. If you're a heavyweight, again, you can generate the force to knock someone out. But again, what happens when you're fighting someone else who can generate the force to knock you out? And this is what Bakole, I feel like, was oblivious to. What I feel like he felt like in his mind, he was indestructible, which he's been stopped before by Michael Hunter. But still, I think he felt like, nah, they I can get to them, they can't get to me. I can hurt them, they can't hurt me. I'm the best. I beat them all up in sparring. And then he got in that ring and he got knocked out in the second round. Because again, I think he was a little too high on himself. He didn't have a healthy fear of his opponents. And if he had a healthy fear of Joseph Parker, he probably doesn't take this fight on such short notice. But I think like there's a bit of disrespect if you're Joseph Parker. The fact that this guy is willing to step in and fight you on 2 days' notice, knowing you've been in a full camp, knowing you've been training, knowing you've been going hard, and he wasn't, that's another thing. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. This man, Bakole, wasn't staying ready at all. Bakole came in big. He has a fight against F.A. Ajapa. He has a fight against F.A. Ajapa. You would think he's training. FA's probably training. You would think he's training. FA stays in good shape anyway. And FA's not as talented as Martin Bakole, but at least he stays in shape. Like you never seen FA and he looked out of shape. But Martin Bakole has a fight coming up and he's not in shape. He shows up looking like that. And you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Josh Padley's a bit different. We're going to get into that. Josh Padley, the opportunity came. He was able to run up on it because he was like, hey, I'm near fight weight. You know, it is what it is. Let me hop up on it. But Bakole benefits from the fact that he's a heavyweight. You don't have to wait. You can weigh whatever you want. So he showed up in condition that indicates he probably wasn't in the best shape. So hopefully this is a lesson for Bakole. One, you're not invincible. You're not indestructible. You can be hurt. You can be knocked out. So you need to be in peak condition. And if Bakole was in better condition, that fight may have gone differently, but the world will never know because he agreed on short notice. He agreed on short notice. Despite having to take multiple flights and wear someone else's gloves, he still agreed to the fight. So that's all on him. But does it derail the hype train? I think it does for now. He could always build it back up. And he has the fight with F.A. Ajapa in May still. Jang just got stopped by Jake Caballo. So Bakole versus Jang, that's still a banger on one of those Riyadh season undercards that I think many people will want to see. He takes out Jang. Or if even a Jake Caballo and Martin Bakole. If you're a Jake Caballo, though, it's like, man, he just got knocked out in the second round against Joseph Parker. Like, why can't I just get Joseph Parker if you're a Jake Caballo? But my point is, there's still good fights out there for Martin Bakole. But yeah, a little bit. Like, it derails the hype train. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. It's Caden, and you can listen to this podcast on all major streaming services. I'm out. Peace.